Have you ever wondered what's the scariest thing you could possibly experience? Lucid nightmares. Number 1. Try waking up. You might be confused by this one. If lucid nightmares are so scary, why shouldn't you try to wake up? Well, here's the tricky part. Trying to wake up when you're terrified almost always backfires. Your thoughts shape what happens in a lucid nightmare, and when you desperately want to leave, your mind puts too much pressure on itself, and that usually makes things worse. You might start doubting whether it will work, and that doubt is exactly what prevents it from working. Not only will forcing yourself to wake up probably fail, it can also make the situation even scarier. The moment you notice it isn't working, panic sets in, and the nightmare feeds off your fear, making everything feel more intense. But that's not even the main reason you shouldn't try to wake up. If you're in a lucid nightmare, it likely means you were trying to lucid dream. Even when it feels like the world is controlling you, remember this: you're still in control. Lucid nightmares are frightening, yes, but there are powerful, effective ways to regain control. And don't worry, after I show you the 7 things you absolutely must never do in a lucid nightmare, I'll share the most effective tricks to escape these situations and feel fully in control again. Stick around, because these strategies are surprisingly easy, and once you know them, you'll never feel helpless in a lucid nightmare again. Number 2. Closing your eyes. Seriously, don't do this. Many people try to escape a lucid nightmare by closing their eyes and picturing another scene in their mind. But lucid nightmares are intense, and your emotions can be manipulated. You might feel more desperate, scared, and less focused than usual. All of this makes it nearly impossible to simply change the scene by closing your eyes. Worse yet, feeling defenseless often lets your subconscious create something unexpected to scare you even more. So, don't rely on this method if you want to leave a lucid nightmare. Number 3. Imagine something scary happening. I know it sounds obvious that you shouldn't do this, but it's one of the most important points to cover. Everyone knows it in theory, but the moment a lucid nightmare hits, I bet the first thing that pops into your mind is exactly what you least want to happen. In this type of situation, it's almost guaranteed that if you think about something scary, that exact thing will appear right in front of your eyes. And when that happens, you're basically setting yourself up for a very unpleasant experience. Unlike regular lucid dreams, where a passing thought often isn't enough to manifest, lucid nightmares don't ask for permission. The scarier the thing you think of, the faster it comes to life. The biggest reason to focus on not thinking about anything scary at all is that this is usually the point where you start losing control, and then you can get stuck in a loop. Everything intensifies, becomes scarier, and you feel trapped with no way out. Number 4. Following anything you didn't think of. A lot of people get caught off guard by this one because they simply don't know it. Both in lucid dreams and nightmares, the world almost always follows exactly what you think of. That means if you don't imagine a way out, like a door, portal, or a shift to another dream scene, and suddenly one just appears out of nowhere, no matter how friendly or beautiful it looks, never go through it. This is one of the most common tricks lucid nightmares use, and the more scared you are, the worse it gets. When you're desperate and really want to escape, you usually don't stop to question it. You just feel lucky that an exit showed up. But here's the catch. In lucid dreams, there's no such thing as luck. Everything happens because you believe it will. So if you take that path you never intended, you're basically handing over control to the nightmare itself. What happens then? You'll be pulled into a completely new scene, one the dream has prepared as its playground to scare you even more. Psychologically, it's much worse than staying where you were. At least before, you knew the environment, but now you're in a strange, carefully chosen place designed to terrify you. It could be tied to something from your past, or straight out of the most horrifying movie you've ever watched. Either way, remember this rule: never follow anything you didn't create. Number 5. Doing what your dream wants. When people are in lucid nightmares, they often don't really know what to do instead of trying to wake up, so they just end up running from what's happening. But what they don't realize is that they might actually be running straight into exactly where they shouldn't. The nightmare often messes with you and makes you feel like the worst possible choices are the ones you should make. The scary part is that you usually kind of realize you shouldn't be doing them. You might think, why am I going through this strange dark path? But you still go, because in that moment it somehow makes sense. This is because lucid nightmares are usually so intense that they change the way you think and behave, and they often lower your ability to think clearly, tricking you into doing the wrong things, almost like you're slowly losing a bit of lucidity. Now, this doesn't mean you should go directly face your fears, because if that's done without the right mindset, it can turn into a very bad decision. Just avoid doing things that will obviously make the whole situation escalate, and never do what your dream tells you to do. Number 6. Thinking about people you like. This one is a little more unusual, but trust me, you really don't want this to happen. During a lucid nightmare, your subconscious is in a very strange state, where random thoughts easily slip through your mind, so it's very common for you to suddenly imagine the people you love the most, and that's a huge mistake. Just thinking about close friends or family is enough for the nightmare to use them as bait, or even as a way to traumatize you, and when fear kicks in, you might go even further and accidentally imagine something bad happening to them, even though you'd never want that. That thought alone is enough for the dream to twist it into reality. So if you hear a familiar voice shouting your name, ignore it. Just like before, never follow what the dream gives you. And if you see someone you really care about, immediately look away because you have no idea what your mind might do with that person and how quickly that will happen. In this situation, you should be at the peak of your motivation to get the hell out of that nightmare as fast as possible and finally shift into a normal lucid dream. Number 7. Looking into a mirror. The most classic mistake both for lucid dreams and lucid nightmares. But though in lucid dreams looking at a mirror can be totally fine, in nightmares it's just not. Almost every single time you look at a mirror in a lucid nightmare, the dream will find a way for you to get scared even more. You might think regardless of what you see, it can't be much worse than what you already look like in real life. But that's not always true. Your mind can go deeper than you could ever expect and show you something you'll never be ready for. Something so disturbing it can stick with you even after waking up. To make it even worse, mirrors are already complicated and unstable in regular lucid dreams, so imagine how disturbed and twisted they'll become in a lucid nightmare. Seriously, don't do it. Even if you think, for some random reason, it will be fine or funny, it really won't. And the more you look at yourself, the worse it gets. Almost like the mirror keeps feeding the nightmare with your fear the longer you decide to stare. Okay, now you can finally relax because the scary part is over. It's time to show you how to deal with these lucid nightmares in a very powerful and effective way. The first and most important thing to master is your emotional control, which is truly the core of all of this. The moment you start noticing the dream becoming uncomfortable, stop it immediately from escalating further. Start doing something you genuinely enjoy, and actively ignore any unwanted thoughts or scary images. If you intervene right at the start, you'll prevent the situation from spiraling. If that doesn't work and you suddenly find yourself in a completely different, more intense scenario, remember this: nothing can actually hurt you, and you are fully in control. Simply believing in yourself when asking for things to change is already incredibly powerful. Even in the middle of fear, there's always a bit of hope, especially if you know exactly what to do. The two best ways to handle these situations are very straightforward. You can either create a portal behind you that shows what's on the other side, allowing you to safely choose your desired location without being caught off guard. Or, if you prefer a method requiring slightly less focus but more absolute belief in yourself, simply turn around and chase whatever is hunting you. If nothing is actively after you and the environment is just scary, confidently ask for your fear to show itself and constantly remind yourself that you are not afraid. Both of these methods are extremely powerful when done correctly. The key is simple: ignore everything around you, focus fully, and believe without doubt. Remember, nothing can actually hurt you. You just need to be strong and fully accept that you can do this. You can even practice these techniques during the day, using any past nightmares you've had, which will prepare you perfectly for future lucid nightmares, letting you transform them into vivid, amazing lucid dreams, where you can do absolutely anything you want. If you want to watch more lucid dreaming content like this, make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.